As a child, I loved to talk. As I got older, I never stopped. I'm Yvonne, the motivator, man. This is Determined Women of Destiny. I'm about to give you the business, the good, the bad, and the beautiful of female entrepreneurship. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Determined Women of Destiny. You know who I am, Yvonne, the motivator, man. And today's show is exciting. I have the dynamic duo with me. I have Diana Rhodes and Joyce Licorice. So you're
Hey.
saying, okay, Yvonne, you're saying the dynamic duo. Absolutely. Diana Rhodes is a screenwriter and has done major works. And Joyce Licorice is a singer, an actor, a director, and an author. And she has done a lot of stuff too. These two ladies have come together and they're doing a film on Joyce's book called The Lost Locket. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Yvonne.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's good to be here.
It is my pleasure. Diana, as a screenwriter, tell us some of the things that you've done and how exciting your work is.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I'm actually coming from a theater background. I'm an off-Broadway producer and director. My last great work was in 2014, where I did the show called Troubled Little Angel, which was a tribute to the life and legacy of the great Phyllis Hyman, the R&B and jazz singer. And when I moved to Atlanta in 2015, I hooked up with Joyce and we collaborated on some projects. And as a result of that came the screenplay for The Lost Locket. And the rest is history, I'm happy to say. It was a wonderful experience. It's still a wonderful experience as it continues to unfold and builds incredible momentum. And I'm looking forward to doing a lot more projects.
Joyce, The Lost Locket is part of a heirloom trilogy. Tell us exactly what an heirloom trilogy is and how you had the idea of this trilogy and now the last portion to become a film.
Yeah, so the Heirloom Trilogy is a series of books. Each one of them, the through line is the heirloom. And each book, heirloom causes something magical or mystical to happen. Book one was actually a dream that I had about my grandmother's watch. And it's called The Forgotten Timepiece. It became a bestseller and it was my first novel. It took me 10 years to write it, but I had the dream 10 years prior and it was a recurring dream. And so eventually I wrote the book. And when I did it, it was a challenge from my life coach because she kept saying, what is the work that you're going to leave behind that will move, touch, and inspire people long after you're gone? And at the time, my husband said, her book. And I'm like, shut up. But she's like, he was right. I needed to write that book. And so she said, well, class starts in a month. I want to see you in a month. Come back and at least have the first chapter written. Well, I like a challenge. So I wrote the whole book in 30 days. And essentially, the each story is a unique tale around an heirloom. So, book one, The Forgotten Timepiece, is about interracial a couple that is has a daughter who's actually racially ambiguous, and they've adopted her, and she's raised by this family, thinking that she was one race, and finding out after she meets her grandmother and gets the family heirloom that her ancestry is completely different. And the heirloom in book one transports her back in time. In book two, the heirloom is a ring where the ring bestows the beholder everlasting life. And book three, which is the book that we are working on turning into the major motion picture, The Lost Locket, is a story about a modern day journalist who she writes about her love life, and her love life isn't the greatest. She writes for a love column, and essentially she's enamored with all things of the past because she takes care of her grandma. Well, her grandmother's put into a home and she loses that connection, but she goes out for a little retail therapy and picks up this locket, and inside of it is a picture of a white soldier from World War II. And every time she wears the locket, she has this dream where she's living a dual reality, and she's deployed as a black nurse during the war to Normandy, France, and they have a forbidden romance. So you can see it's three completely different stories, three completely different sets of characters. And originally I was calling it the Heirloom Trilogy. Now I'm calling it the Heirloom Series because I'm working on book four.
Wow. And And the theme through all of them is romance.
The theme is romance. The theme is taking on new perspectives. The theme is we are one race, human race. Because in each one, there's either a person who thinks they're one color and they're not, or there's a colorism issue in book two where there's a Creole boy who falls in love with the daughter of a sharecropper who's too dark for him, and so they have this love. And each one of them is a historical romance also. So you've got book one that's set modern day where she's transported back to slavery, that time, 1850s. And then book two, it goes into the jazz era, Louisiana, 1920s. And then book three, we're going from modern day back to 1944.
Okay. Now, Diana,
Yes.
taking all of this and putting this on the screen, so that we could feel this. Because just listening to Joyce talk, you feel the passion. And I was able to read the first chapter of the book, and my life is crazy busy. So I was proud of myself that I got through the first chapter. And I just fell into it.
Right.
I was just drawn into it. Is it hard to take all of that passion and to take those characters and put that on screen so we still feel it, like we do when we read the book?
That's a very good question. And the best answer I can give you to that is we all have a common thread in humanity, and that is that we all need to feel that we are needed and wanted in the most purest form. And that essentially is love. And that common thread runs throughout. It runs throughout generations, it runs throughout colors, it runs throughout the whole gamut. And I say that to say that a lot of the books that Joyce writes has that theme of connectivity. And it was easy for me to bring it to life on a screen, or rather in a screenplay, because I could visualize it. I could visualize the characters interacting, and I could feel their emotions as they connected as human beings during such a tragic time in World War II. So it was a very visual experience for me in my head. And then the special antidote, I think, is that Joyce and I are uh, very much the type of women who appreciate romance. So our writing styles complemented one another. There were times where she would literally call me after having a dream and tell me about what she dreamt, and I could visualize it in my head and be able to write the story as we collaborated. So, what we came up together with is essentially the kind of love that we want, in our lives, a true, solid, long lasting, genuine love.
Wow. Well, we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss a little bit more about the romance and the love and the era that the Lost Locket has entwined in it. So, you guys make sure you come back. You don't want to miss the rest of this interview. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you've tuned into Determined Women of Destiny. I am your host, Yvonne, the Motivator Man. And like I always say, shame on you. You should have been here in the beginning. All the good stuff starts at the beginning. But I love you that you're here now. And your encouragement and support means everything to me. I am chatting with Diana Rhodes and Joyce Licorice, the dynamic duo who has come together, and they are doing the film The Lost Locket. Just to give you a little recap, The Lost Locket is an heirloom trilogy written by Joyce Licorice, and Diana Rhodes is going to put it on the screen so we can see this fabulous book. Now, before we went to break, we also talked about some of the book and, the love, the romance, the era. And now I would like to speak to both of you the why. Why was it important that the two of you come together and put this particular book on screen?
You
Joyce,
want to
would
go
you like
first, or you
to
want me to
go
go first?
first?
I'll go first. So for
Okay.
me, the why for the whole story is love conquers all, and that we are essentially one race. And I say that a lot. And I love historical fiction. I love romance. And although this story is rich with intrigue and romance and the beauty of Normandy, France as the backdrop, the bigger reason for this story is to honor the minority men and women in the military whose stories have gone untold. Before I wrote this book, I had no idea that Black women were even involved during World War II in any capacity. So I reached out to a professor who's over historical studies and specializes in that era. And his mother was actually a Rosie the Riveter building warships as part of World War II. And this is a Black man. So he educated me on what the Black women did. And we got the backstory and got to understand their role with that pivotal war that brought Hitler down, and nobody has ever told their story. So I thought, what a unique idea, what a novel concept to be able to take a Black woman and show the dual reality and the intricacies of interracial romance then and now. So the story parallels those two worlds, and it tells a bigger story that's been untold.
Yes.
How hard was
Um,
it to write about an era that neither one of you lived in? You know, you guys are young women.
yeah.
World War II, you
Well, we live in the video age now, so it wasn't hard to
okay,
look,
right.
it wasn't hard to look up YouTube clippings and go to the History Channel and research. And so it really wasn't that hard to put ourselves in their shoes. And then unfortunately, because of the things that are going on, in today's society, we still endure some of those injustices. They're just hidden in a more sophisticated fashion, but they still exist. And so, we took a lot of the angst and the anguish that is going on today in society and compared and contrasted to what they were dealing with back then. And although we have made some strides, as a society, and everybody else knows, we still have some work to do, and to be able to tell a story that's so innocent and so beautiful, and the backdrop is such a, a devastating time. It was surreal for both of us, but I think it also lends to the potency of the message as well as the film.
And I thank you both that this is going to be a movie that will show that, the love of our people, you
Yeah,
know, the hard work of our people, the dedication of our people, because there's so many films that don't do that. I'm
absolutely.
watching Netflix and I'm like, really, seriously, another one of these films?
Yeah,
So it's refreshing to know that there will be a film out there that shows romance, that shows love of people.
right,
Joyce said it best. We're all one human society. Yes, we
exactly.
have different colors, we have different hair colors, we have different eye colors, we have different cultures, but we reside on this big blue ball.
That's
I'm a speaker, so when I speak and I point out people, I'll say, oh, this sister in the back has a question. So the last time I did that, it was an Asian woman and her face was like, and I had to explain, we're all family, we live on this blue
right.
ball, so that's why I said my sister.
Sister, right.
I
Right.
point to
Get
a
it.
white
Yeah.
male and I said, oh, my brother over here, I saw your hand. And
Right.
again, puzzlement. And I'm like, is it that hard? Is it really that hard for us to
But think
interact?
about it. Think about how we connect with one another today. And I use air quotes around the term connect
Yes.
because we are being groomed to artificially connect through, devices and through technology. But real human connection is falling to the wayside. And that is so detrimental to our growth as a society. It's not supposed to be that way. So, the fact that Joyce and I could come up with something that illustrates the innocence of, genuine human connection, that was important to us, because when you peel all the layers away, like you said, the colors and the textures and all the other things that we are privy to, look at first, at the end of the day, what really matters is the content of the heart and the soul of a person, the essence of a person. And, that's what you fall in love with. It's not the exterior. The exterior is what may catch your eye, but the integrity of a person is what will keep you there.
Absolutely.
And the Lost Locket is bringing that to the forefront,
Absolutely.
along with the men and women that were involved with the war.
Yes.
You know,
And there's another story there too that we weaved in. A lot of the beauty of the series, the whole series, is that although these are obviously fictional stories with fictional characters, we have weaved in true facts and historical events. And so, one of the events that we discovered in our research was where, with not just one, but multiple times, Black soldiers were lynched for committing crimes that their white counterparts had done the same thing and were either just got a slap on the wrist or were basically removed from the military, but they were lynched. And so we worked that in. There was a riot that occurred between Black soldiers and white soldiers, where at the end of the riot, although the white soldiers initiated the riot, the Black soldiers were lynched. And this is a true historical thing that's been swept under the rug. So we found little tidbits of stories like that we weaved into our narrative. And although it is fiction, people will get to see for the first time on the big screen how we were treated. Black people risked their lives, put their lives on hold to go serve a country that they were considered a second class citizen of. And needless to say, we're out and abroad and we're fighting a war for justice, for equality, for the world from Hitler. And we imported the Jim Crow South into a place where they didn't feel that way about Black people. We took it to France. And so I think this is the first film that will show it to this degree. There are some other films that have touched it, but to this degree, where the focus is the Black experience, right as D-Day was occurring, 1944, in the heart of France. Our military unitedly was trying to form this front as if we are the most democratic society in the world and we are all for equality. But we imported that mess to another country. We lynched our own soldiers in the streets and made a public spectacle of them losing their lives for the same infractions that the white counterparts didn't have any consequences hardly for. And so it's time to tell that part of the story. So it's bigger than just a romance. It even has some comedic elements, but really the heart of it is how we were treated and that experience that has been swept under the rug for we're approaching 80 years. Wow. And the story's never been told.
And France was horrified at our behavior.
Absolutely.
Horrified. They couldn't even understand the logic behind it. And I can't remember the name of the movie, but recently I watched it where those soldiers that were hung after, it was the white soldiers that started the uprising.
Yes.
And I really was blown away because.
And they all went home. Yeah. Some of them were discharged dishonorably, but they went home.
Nobody was demoted. Right.
Yeah. Everything was okay.
But they had a fair trial. There was no fair trial.
No.
For the Black soldiers.
No.
And that wasn't the only time. There are multiple times in history where that's happened, but in France in particular, we use that story as one of the pieces of our storyline.
And then the sad part is if you survived the war and you came back home, you would still win.
Exactly.
So you
Yeah.
Exactly.
survived the bullet to come home.
You survived the war and come home and become a target for the
Yes.
Right.
KKK and for racists too.
Right.
I that
That's
piece of
what we
the
talk
story
about
never
in the
been
book.
told.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was horrible. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, these two ladies are going to let you know more information about the film, The Lost Locket. They're going to send you to the website so you can get a little bit more information. And then they're going to leave you with a little inspiration and motivation if you're if you're a screenwriter aspiring, or if you're an author or an actress. So you guys come right back.
Do you feel stuck in your life? Are you at the same level and don't know why? Feel like you have no direction? Edna White, your life purpose coach, can give you the tools you need to surpass your goals and attain the love, life, and business profit you deserve. Coaching can give the accountability you need to take off. Yes, with coaching, you can move forward in your life, love, and business. Invest in yourself today.
We are back with Diana Rhodes, Joyce Licorice. We're talking about the upcoming film, The Lost Locket. And of course, I'm your host, Yvonne the Motivated Man. This has been such an interesting time with both of you because you've given me so much information. I'm an incurable romantic, so I'll be looking forward to this film.
Good.
And, you know, give us some information for our listeners and our viewers that are thinking about, you know, writing that play or being a screenwriter or writing that book or becoming an actress or a director. You know, give them some information, some motivation to let them get up off that book. You know, I'm one of those people, so please motivate me to get off of these 5 book titles that I have written around here on my dream board, I call it.
I
Okay.
love it. I'll let Diana go first and then I'll jump in.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this, my sister. You make time for everything else in your life. Make time to use your gift. You have something to say, you have a voice. Make the time to write. Use your voice. Don't not do it, because tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And you don't know what your story, what kind of impact your story will have on somebody if you share it, you know? And there's a blessing in that. There's a blessing in following through with it, you know? So I'm proof positive that you can do it. You know, Joyce and I co-wrote the screenplay, and as a result of that, we have this wonderful book that is soon going to be translated into French and sold overseas. So, you know, the momentum, like I said, is really building on this project. And it's because we were obedient to the gift that God put into both of us. And we collaborated, and this is it. So if we can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely. And I know our time is short, so I'll say 3 words. Nike said it best: just do it.
Yeah.
If God put the gift in you, who are you not to honor the calling?
Right.
If he put it in you,
Yeah.
imposter syndrome, kick it out the window. You are good enough because he gave the gift to you. Don't take it to the grave. Just do it.
Amen.
Wow.
And if you're looking for a publishing company, Dream Empire, our lovely logo behind us, dreamempirefilms.com also has a publishing division. We also are always looking for screenwriters. We have 7 on board right now that we work with. We have over 20 different projects at various stages of production that we're working on, from feature films, television series, documentaries, you name it. If you're interested in getting to the industry, if you have an idea and you can't fully develop it, we have writers on staff that can help to flush out your idea. There's no reason for you not to go to the next level. DreamEmpireFilms.com or DreamEmpirePublishing.com. And if you need voiceover work, hey, we do that too.
Great. Great. So, what's the website for the film?
So everything right now is in one central location, DreamEmpireFilms.com. If you want more information about the trilogy, you can go to theforgottentimepiece.com because that was book 1. And then all of the books are available on Amazon. So you can type in Joyce Licorice, you can type in Heirloom Trilogy, or you can just type in The Lost Locket, The Forgotten Timepiece, or The Forbidden Ring, and the books will come up in a series where you can get one or all three.
And if you have Audible, you can get the first two of the trilogy on there. You can listen to it, but the Lost
Not yet, not yet.
Not yet?
Not on Audible. Now the
Okay.
ebooks are available.
Okay.
All three are ebooks, paperbacks, and the hardbacks will be available very soon.
Okay.
We just went through the process to get that approved a few days ago. So you should be able to get the ebook, paperback, hardback, and we're still working on the voiceover for the audiobooks. I actually am an audiobook narrator, but I have so many other clients I haven't had a chance to do my own. But the plan is to have those all available by the spring.
Okay, so you guys know where to go to get the books. So by time the movie's out, when will we see this on the silver screen?
It definitely will be deep into 2022 or possibly 2023. We roll cameras in May. So
Okay.
we'll be in La Rochelle, France, in May, and Ile de Ré or Ile de Ré, I can never see it quite right.
Shout out
in
to our
May
brothers, by
and
the way,
June.
at
Yeah.
10 Bit Productions, Mark
Yeah.
and David.
Yes. Beast Production
Yes.
is our French co-production partner. So we'll be working with them. We're shooting about 20% of the film here in Atlanta, Georgia, and the other 80% over in France.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting.
Absolutely.
So you guys have enough time to get the books, to read it. So then when the movie comes out, you're
Right.
able to be totally immersed in the ambiance of the experience. You know, instead of saying, oh, I wonder. No. Have the whole experience. Because to me, that's what I feel like. I feel like this movie's going to be an experience for us. So
Yeah.
I know I'm going to read the three of them. So if you want to read the three of them, send me something at determinedwomen.com and we can all read it together. How about that?
We'll come back on and discuss the trilogy. It'd be great.
Sure.
Yes, thank
Absolutely.
you. I was just going to that. Oh,
I'm open. I love hearing what readers think about the book. I always read every Amazon review, good, bad, and ugly, but luckily they're all three are rated 4.5 stars or greater, and the Lost Locket has a 5-star rating on Amazon.
great. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to read the book. We're going to come back, and Diana and Joyce are going to host us, and we're going to talk about this book, how we feel about the trilogy, and we're just going to have a good time. How about we just do a chit chat? You know?
That sounds good.
So y'all hit me up at determinedwomenofdestiny.com and just let me know who's interested, and I can start the ball rolling.
There you go.
Thanks for having us, Siobhan.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
so
you
much.
for being on the show. It has been an amazing time with both of you. You have definitely motivated me to take those titles off my dream board and
Do it.
start working on some of them.
Nothing to it but to do it.
Yes.
That's right.
So as I always say when I end the show, keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done. Until next time, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Thank you for watching. For more information regarding this guest or previous guests on my show, please go to determinedwomenofdestiny.com. Until we meet again, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.